Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, how are you?
Doing good. We got caught up before we started. We should have done that after we pressed record.
I know we should have waited. It's funny because you're in Kentucky because your whole bookshelf changes when you're in
It does. Yes.
compared to when you're in.
Yes. I have two main reasons to come back. One is to check on my offices and all of our people. And two is because Frankie gets acupuncture here, So I had to, so he had acupuncture last week and he has it again tomorrow morning at 8.
Well, we got to get Frankie to the right doctors. We can't.
That's right.
That's so funny.
Adam's like, we don't plan our schedule around Frankie's acupuncture. I'm like, nope, we do. I'm like, when you're the same age as Frankie, which is like over 90 and dog, like, yes, we'll probably be planning stuff around your doctor's appointments too.
That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. That's only you, Dana.
I know. Well, I'm excited to get to actually be with you this week. I'll be heading to Dallas on Wednesday.
I know. I'm super pumped. We finally get to go shopping all the cool shops Dallas-Fort Worth has.
That's right. So many good ones.
Awesome. Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit today. You and I had the same idea at the same time on really kind of what we've been hearing from everybody is they're just, I don't know if it's denial or, I'd rather it not be changing, or I don't know what to do because it's changing. What do you think is the sentiment mostly you're hearing right now?
I think it's kind of a mixture of both, but I was talking to one of my top agents and she said, this is the least amount of pendings that I've had in the last 5 years this month right now.
Now, has she been through a shift before?
Yeah, she has been. Yeah.
Okay.
She was saying in the last 5 years this month is the least amount of pendings that she's had. And she sells a lot. And so, it's just interesting. It's like, it really is slowing down. And you're hearing, like today, I talked to two people who said their house has been on the market over 30 days and it's not really overpriced. I mean, it's just, so it seems like even this week going to all the market centers, talking to agents, it's like everybody's kind of back to like that panic freak out mode that they think they're never going to sell another house again.
Well, I think you got two agents out there. You got the ones who've never been through a shift and they just absolutely don't have any clue what to do because it was speed and now it's skill.
Yep.
And we've talked about that a little bit before. And then you got the other person who knows what's ahead and kind of may just think, gosh, do I even want to go through this again? I remember that from shifts in the past.
Yeah, totally.
I don't even know if I'm mentally, if you want, it's kind of like a marathon. The first marathon, you're just so excited. You don't really understand all the training that's going to go into it. And then you do the marathon, you think, oh my God, I'm never doing this again. Or you think, well, maybe I will do this again. But the truth is, it takes more willpower to do the next one because you actually know how much training goes before you go do the marathon.
Yeah.
And so I think that a lot of our agents who've been through a shift before are kind of thinking about other shifts and thinking, oh man, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Which actually funny you say that because this is a podcast for another episode, but I did just hear Gary say on the last top agent mastermind that one of the biggest things that agents can do right now is go look at agents who maybe have been through several shifts and be reaching out to them, saying, are you prepared to go through another one or would you like to partner or, figure out a way to sell your business. And I think that's exactly what you're saying, which is some people, I mean, it's a lot to think about going through another one.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think because they think it's going to be as hard as it, has in the past, and maybe it won't, maybe it will be different. But the other thing too, is you can also find some top agents who actually are kind of excited about a shift because, they are predicting the number of agents will go down. And, I always say, look, if you think about the number of transactions that are done even in your local marketplace, there's always plenty out there for you to hit your goals. You just have to make sure you're the aggressive one that gets, the skills down and the prospecting down and the marketing and all the things you need to do to attract business that you have to do the last 5 years.
Yeah,
really.
totally. Yep, totally. It's definitely moving to a skill-based market. So you and I were going to share a couple of things that we think agents should be focusing on right now, or anybody that's in real estate really, to be able to just kind of prepare for this. And I know first you said was mindset, like just getting their mindset right. Anything else you would add on around the mindset?
I would just say think 10X, not 2X.
Oh, I
Because
love that.
2X means I'm trying to figure out how to do 50 more deals, where 10X says I'm going to figure out how to, double my business, or,
Love that.
10 times my business, because you think differently. I just got interviewed this week for Dan's new book that's coming out, which I'm super pumped about. So I got to read a little bit of the manuscript. It's not completely done or anything, but it really made me think, oh my gosh, this is where all of us are right now. Realtors, operating principals, we're thinking 2X and we're getting stuck. Whereas if we would just think 10X,
Yep.
it forces you to think different habits and skills than the ones that it would take to 2X you, right?
Yep.
Grunting out another, 2 times your business would be a lot harder than if you said, hey, what if I try to 10X it? Because now I've got to have a whole new mindset. I've got to go hang out with different people.
Yep.
I've got to get bigger ideas, all of those things. And that book just resonated with me when I was reading it before my interview with Ben. And I thought, man, this is right now, this would solve a lot of our problems if we could figure out what's a 10X plan instead of a 2X plan. So I would say mindset needs to be that.
When's that book coming out?
Not till the first of the year, he said. I told him to hurry up. I think it's going to be the best one. And I loved Who Not How.
Yes.
But I think 10X is easier than 2X is going to be even better, I think.
Oh, is that what it's about?
Yeah. And he said he'd come on the podcast and talk about it.
Oh, yeah. That would be awesome. You know, really, honestly, what perfect timing. Leave it to Dan, because he's always spot on with perfect timing. But I mean, that's true, Linda. I think a lot of people that makes so much sense, thinking 2X, not 10X.
Yeah. So that'd be my mindset tip.
Yep. Love that. I had for my first one and kind of around mindset, and I know we keep talking about a speed-based versus a skills-based, but I'm having more agents right now attend trainings than they have in the last 2 or 3 years. And I just think you have to get back in the mindset of making yourself time block and calendar and schedule to work on yourself and to work on your business and to attend these trainings and stuff, because I feel like it's the people that just completely check out from that. And then all of a sudden they look up and they're like, what the heck? Nobody, I wasn't prepared for this, but I'm like, well, really, we've been preparing you for this for months now. And also, it's been great because it's helping people think a different way, getting back to good reminders of things. So I just think we've got to get back in the mindset of, we've been so busy that we haven't necessarily been attending trainings and everything. And now I think it's time to get back to like, okay, I need to be in at least, one a week at minimum, just to get new ideas and freshen back up.
Well, and I think training, I know for me, it kind of, even especially when I don't feel like I want to go or need to go, I get the best result because I get a refresh just in my whole mental attitude.
Yep.
And I think it's kind of like when something tragic happens in your family, you all kind of go back together. And I think the same thing happens here. When things are tough, you want to be around other people. You were like, I want to be around other people who are experiencing this, right? I don't want to be by myself with it. So I think it puts you in the same room with people who are experiencing it.
Yeah. What do you have next?
I have, go back. And if you've been through a shift before, go back and look at sources of business that you haven't looked at in a long time, like expireds, for sale by owners. I think of one to many. So I would do like seller seminars. Maybe I used to teach a class at one of the universities on how to buy your first home. And it's funny, I got one of the best listings ever out of how to buy your first home.
Wow.
And I said, where are you in this class? This is how to buy your first home. He goes, yeah, but it's been a long time. So I needed a refresher. So, it's kind of funny, but what you're doing is getting as many eyeballs in front of you as possible.
Yep.
Use our hold book and do an investment seminar, because here's the thing. Think about what people are thinking. They're thinking, oh, good, prices are going to get good again. So some people might be thinking about investing. Mm-hmm. And those people that usually think about investing also own homes.
Yep.
So I would do anything I could do one to many. Teach any, do a shift for business owners. I would do a shift book club.
Yep.
Small business owners, and probably host it in one of the small business rooms, and, maybe provide coffee and a muffin or something for everybody. But I would think of one to many, not one to one, especially if I'm going to 10X, right? If I'm going to 10X, I got to get lots of eyeballs looking at me. So I have odds in my favor. So that would be one of the things, but I would say, go back and look at sources that you've gotten business from before. And if you have never been through a shift, ask, experienced agents, where did you used to get business when the market was tough before? Well, first of all, expireds are going to be more because people aren't going to be okay to price their home where it needs to be. And it's funny, you just said it a while ago, they've been on the market 30 days and they're priced good. Guess what? In this market,
Yeah.
It depends on how many people they've had through, but if they've
Yeah.
had a number of people through, then the market's saying something different, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So
Or,
true.
and I would say the other thing is start paying attention to how many months of supply stuff you have,
Yeah.
because that's what you need to have all that knowledge. When we talk about skill base, when you go, your whole presentation changes when you go on a listing presentation now on this is how many months supply we have,
Yeah.
what's your time frame, and let's try to, we can trade time, but we got to trade money for that time, which is most important to you. So I think just learning to ask better questions, and to get more of those skills around pricing and being real knowledgeable about, because you'll be ahead of a lot of agents. A lot of agents maybe don't know to go check all the statistics and have those in your hip pocket as a tool.
Yeah. And I was thinking today too, and I was talking to a girl at a furniture who owns a furniture store here, and she was saying their house, her husband's a realtor, and she was saying their house is sitting on the market. She said, unfortunately, I think I have the nicest house in the neighborhood. However, it's still, it's still sitting. But we just got to talking, and I was thinking, before, I mean, we used to like really prepare for houses to get on the market. I mean, it was like staging and everything paint had to be fresh and carpets perfect and, landscaping just all the hide your dog bowls, like everything. And now over the last couple of years, it's been like, I mean, you can put your house on the market with no matter what it looks like, and it's going to go over full price. So even getting back to figuring out, a lot of these agents, and I'm just thinking of agents in my market centers, they've never had to stage a house. They've never really had to go in and say like, hey, these vents need cleaned and this room needs painted and this stuff. And I mean, even getting back, so I'm just thinking, gosh, we might need to do like a shadow, like a field trip or something about how to get a house ready. Because, I think when you live there, you don't see things that other people come in and a fresh set of eyes sees. But even just getting back to stuff like that, I mean, that's going to be a game changer, I think, for agents to understand and learn how to do.
Yeah, I used to have a script that says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how honest would you like for me to be? If I see something about your house
Yep.
that might keep it from bringing top dollar, how honest do you want me to be? Because sometimes giving that information, agents don't do it because they don't want to give that kind of information to people. But I say you just give them an option. Do you want the top dollar for your home, or do you want someone who can come in here and look past all that stuff? Because there's two different people, and one of them is the price is going to have to be extremely right for that. And the other one, we stand to get more money if we can, have the best presentation of the house. Those kind of things are all dialogues that if you haven't ever had them before, you need to learn how to have them, because, you could offend people if you don't know.
I'm just trying to think. I think I used to always say, I'm not here to judge your house. I'm just here to get it sold. And if you came to my house right now, it wouldn't be ready to sell either. So is it okay if I share with you honest feedback, just to get it? And no one ever says no. I mean, they want to know,
Yeah. They sure don't want to not know. It's funny. Somebody reached out to me recently that their house wasn't selling, and I just said, look, we're just in a different market. I mean, I know we're so close to the other one, but it's just completely different now. And so I think that so many things start to happen. The houses fall out of contract, and you got to learn how to prepare people for that. Things that just didn't really happen last year.
No, not even 6 months ago, really.
So,
one of the things that I was going to share is it's just a one pager that I think we got, actually, well, it's technically 2 pages because there's a holidays page behind it, but we'll share it in the show notes. But it's the Seasons of Data Bank, and I love that. I think even Jason Abrams taught on this, but they break it up between the different months of the year, and so we are technically right now in what is called fall cleanup. So from the beginning of August through the end of October, decide what information you want to have in each person in your database. So I think all agents, this is so important to be doing right now. Your must-haves are phone, email, address, and your nice-to-haves would be like their birthday, their anniversaries, their, dogs' names, all that stuff. And then you figure out where the holes are in the information, and then you create a list of everyone that should be in your database but isn't. So you're doing a bunch of fall cleanup. But then come November 1st, all the way through the end of February, he calls it the winter of renewal. And that's basically renewing all of your relationships that you may not have been as purposeful in maintaining over the last year. And he said, why? That is because the end of the year has a lot of natural touch points. New Year's is the one time a year that you can use a talking point to get into conversation with everyone, or, the holidays, anytime that he said, people don't think twice about receiving a gift or a card or a phone call or anything. because we're just in the holiday season.
Mhm.
So it just got me thinking, really, and I'm going to share this with all of our agents in our office meeting this month, but if you are feeling a little bit slower right now, the best thing you could do is go back and start doing fall cleanup on your database, and then start getting into the winter of renewal and just renewing all of your relationships, just getting in communication. And I was talking to an agent in one of our offices this week, and they said, I ran through my sphere of influence in like the first 6 months of my license. So I've never reached back out to him again. And
Oh
I
my
said, yeah. And I said, oh my gosh, but they might not be buying or selling, but everybody knows like 3 people at one time who are buying or who are thinking of buying or selling. So you can't just like ditch them and never talk to them again. Think about referrals. Like they might not move for 5 years, but they know people who are. And he just hadn't even been in a relationship with any of them since the beginning, because he said, oh, I just ran through them too fast.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it'll take twice as many people to do everything that you did. I was thinking about like number of listings, set a goal of, whatever number of transactions you want to do. Those are the number of listings you go after, because
Yeah.
we just came out of a season where you could do more transactions with fewer listings. Now we're moving into a season where you're going to have the amount that you want or more. So if you want to do 200 deals, you need to go take 200 listings or 225 listings or whatever.
Yeah.
Because depending on, how good you are at pricing and getting price reductions and everything else. But we just came out of one where you'd ask somebody how many listings they had, and they'd say, oh, 2 or 3 or 4, and they look at you like you have 2 heads when you say, I used to carry 200 listings, 200 active listings. Because that's what it took, right? And so that's another mental mindset that you got to switch, is it's going to take a whole lot more listings than you had to have, last year to do.
Yeah. Actually, remember when I left Remax and came to KW, I think I had like 40 something listings at the time. A lot were new construction. But even thinking back to that, I mean, gosh, we haven't had 40 something listings, and I don't even know how. I mean, it's definitely different. And we just played a great interview on our podcast with Laura Jalot a few weeks ago. So if you missed that, go back and listen to it, because Laura's the one who took 100 listings in a month in a very, very small town. And actually, she was close. She took like 80 something one month, and then she took 91. And then I think she took 90 something again. And then she finally hit 100. So, I mean, even thinking about taking 80 in a month is like, wow. But Tony had challenged her to do that. And she did. And then she said, man, once you do that, it's like, okay, now taking 20 or 30 a month is nothing.
Yeah. It's a mindset, honestly.
It is.
But, I remember, speaking of Tony, before I actually met Tony, I had an audio tape, or maybe I'd met him and then I got the audio tape of Tony, and I'm running, and I remember exactly where I'm running when I hear this. And it was a game changer for me. He said, make a goal to list a house or sell a house every day. So I ran home and got a year at a glance calendar. And if I would take 2 listings, I got to circle 2 days.
Yeah.
If I took, got a buyer under contract, then I could circle another day. That was the biggest game changer for me.
Yeah.
So I would say get some kind of visual something, start putting every one of your listings on a whiteboard again. Sorry, I know you got technology that'll do all this, but make a visual or make a year at a glance calendar and put on there, I need to list a house. How many houses do I need to list this week?
Yeah.
Do I want to list a house or sell a house every day? And even if it takes you a few years to get there, that's a 10x thought. That's a 10x. That's exactly how you 10x rather than 2x. 2x would be, I get a few more than I got last year. 10x would be, I want to list a house or sell a house every single day. Yeah. So every other day I need to take a listing.
Yes, that is so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Yep. Love that. Love that. Love that. So anyway, we'll put this Seasons of Databank in the show notes too. And I should have closed. I didn't close off the worksheet, but you get through the winter of renewal through the end of February, because then March 1st, what happens? It's spring, summer explosion. I mean, people are slammed. So naturally, as we slow down this time of year anyway, it's just a really great time to get back in relationship and go over your database.
And I remember feeling this way myself. You have all these limiting beliefs. So if you have a lot of limiting beliefs of even about calling your database, which I'm sure all of us have at some time or the other, go back and listen to our interview with Sid.
Yeah.
Because that is so helpful with your mindset of not feeling like you're doing something to these people, but that you're doing something for these people. So I'd go back and listen to Sid over and over again. I just finished his course and I'm going to go back through it again, because there's just, there's nuggets in there, but I think you got to pull it out and
Yeah.
have it in front of you when you're thinking, I don't want to call these people because I haven't called them since beginning of my career,
Yeah.
or 3 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. But that's why I love what that worksheet says, because this is the best time of year to call the people. I mean, nobody
Yeah.
thinks twice about calling them and saying, I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving or happy holidays or wishing you a happy new. I mean, they're not going to be like, well, why are you wishing me that? You haven't called me in 6 years. I mean, they're going to be like, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I think we think people are thinking about us more than they really are thinking about us. So I think
Totally.
and again, that would go back to what Sid believes. It's our ego that stops us from doing it. If we came
Yep.
from a spiritual place of, hey, I'm just going to check in and see how these people are,
Yep.
and go from there, then I think you never know. God may have somebody for me today that needs my help or
Yep.
knows somebody. I think if we can just come from, I think it's our ego that makes us think that they are going to get off the phone and go, well, I wonder why they called. They haven't called in, what was it, honey, 4 years ago and 2 days? They don't even know when it was that you called. And they don't, by the way, nobody calls, so they don't expect it.
Yeah.
I mean, when's your insurance person called you? I haven't had a call. I don't even know who mine is.
Yeah.
I have to call Carrie and go, who's our insurance person? I don't even know who our financial planner is.
Yep.
Like, don't we have money with somebody? Who is that person?
Yeah.
Isn't that awful?
But I mean, but it's because really our industry is one of the only ones that actually even does it to begin with. I mean, honestly.
But if he did call, I'd be like, oh, good. I'm so glad you called. I was just wondering what your name was the other day.
Yeah.
But now that I have you on the phone, what have we got going on in that department? Are we doing the right stuff, or what are we even doing?
Totally.
How much money do we have over there?
So true. So true.
And then the only last thing I put on there, and I'll see if you have any last comments, is make a goal every day to go add so many to, after you get your database cleaned up, then make it a goal to go add to your database.
Yep.
Many as possible, as soon as possible. Because I think I told this on the podcast before, but I asked Tony one time, hey, if you want to kind of build your business over again, what would you do? He said, get 10,000 people in my database as soon as possible. And so that would definitely be a 10x for most people. But 10x your goal on number of people you're going to add to that database, and get really good about getting all the information you need, so you don't ever have to go back again and do what you just did in the cleanup phase in the fall cleanup that Gary talked about. Yeah.
Well, and now they're saying 13,000 to net $1 million. The number has like substantially gone up. 13,000 in your database to net $1 million on a minimum of, I think, a 52 touch plan now. I mean, the touches, I know it's gone crazy. That actually goes with the last thing that I have. And it was the just to get back in relation, after you've done that, you get back in relationship with your people, to just remember the triangle of trust. And I've been using this a lot, and Gary taught us this, but I just love it so much. And if you draw a triangle at the top, it's authenticity. And at the bottom left, it's empathy. And at the bottom right, it's logic. And he said, this is what is the triangle of trust. And he said, to ask yourself the question, who have we honored this triangle with? And he said, because you have to coach people through a change. And that's what we do with our agents. And that's what our agents need to do with their clients. He said, or you have to connect them with someone who can. And he said, the quickest way to get out of a relationship is to stop communicating. He said, if you stop communicating, then if you should stop communicating if you want to quit a relationship. The better or more that you want to have, you need to communicate more. And it just got me thinking, like, we have to communicate more with our clients more than ever before. And he said, we have to people move closer to you emotionally when you allow them to communicate with you. So you have to listen a lot more. And he said, we don't, what was the last thing? Shoot, I thought I had it on my, he said, this was actually a Ben Kinney quote. He said, when you offer the best service, you owe it to them to want to get them to work with you. And so I think if we can just remember the triangle of trust right now and just get in as much communication, be authentic, have empathy for people, and be a source of logic and present them with facts, continuing to give them value, becoming the local market expert, and just communicate. And I just think that that's the way that it has to be right now, especially because so many people are lost. I mean, the average consumer hears the interest rates are going up and they think that they can't buy a house anymore. I mean, or they think that, 7 is like the highest rate we've ever seen. Like, they don't get it like we do every day, because they don't do it every day like we do.
Well, and like we need to be around people that make us feel better about what's going on in the market. They need to be around it too.
Yeah.
So when you're focused on yourself, then you're sitting here fretting over the market, which we can all do.
Yep.
Or we could reach a hand out to help people who are also concerned about the market
Yeah.
and, offer them our knowledge. And we have so much more knowledge than most industries ever get on this stuff.
Yeah.
We could offer to share this with them and let them see how it relates to them and their businesses.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
in the world, because they're feeling the same kind of weird pinches of prices going up and interest rates going up and just everything else in the world, that we can kind of be that sounding board for them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think just giving them good perspective is huge.
Yeah. It just made me think of something we just did with Joel on my last session with him. We did one on conflict resolution. That's really good. We'll cover that maybe in an episode too, just because what made me think about it was thinking about everybody's emotional capacity right now. People's tempers more, they're flying off the handle at each other. I mean, things are just getting, out of hand with the way people act to someone who doesn't believe the way they do or whatever. So anyway, it was very good. So we'll take that. Maybe we'll take one of our episodes and go over that stuff too.
Yeah, I think that would be good. The last thing I wanted to share with really fast is just that NAR stat. And I don't have a recent one, but I do know that through the end of June this year, only 8% of the 1.6 million members of NAR had sold more than 4 houses in the first half of this year. So I would just challenge everybody that's listening that is a real estate business owner to not be one of those people. I mean, just think about, why you're in it and why you're doing it and what this can do for you. And I love what you said, 10x, not 2x. That might be like my quote of the week. I love that. Because there are, what is that? 92% have sold less than that. I mean, it's just crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah. And usually what happens in a market like this is the market share you gain, you don't ever lose again. So you can make a decision, and the one you lose, you won't get back. So what are you going to do? Are you going to gain market share? Or you're going to lose it. And it's all going to depend on, how willing you are to work and your commitment to doing this and doing it all out.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Yep. Totally.
All right. Good. All right. Good conversation. I can't wait to see you on Wednesday.
Me too.
And we will be good consumers for the Texas economy.
That's right.
So remember, if you have not hit subscribe, please go ahead and hit that button below. We'd appreciate it. And the greatest compliment you can give Dana and I is one of those 500 5-star reviews that Dana and I are after. And if you have a comment, a question, a topic, or a great guest that you think would be fabulous for our podcast, please reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. And Dana, I guess I'll see you in 3 days.
Yes. Can't wait. I'll see you then.
And we'll see you guys next week.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.